When excerpts of Michael Wolff's book Fire and Fury first came out, several shocking claims were made about Donald Trump's personal habits, his relationships, and how the White House was being run. Wolff's goal appears to be to convince the public that Trump isn't fit to be president. If you delve deeper into the book, you'll find many more personal allegations that are equally as shocking. Here are some of the new, overly personal allegations against Donald Trump. The book claims a lawyer took care of women Trump allegedly had inappropriate contact with. Mark Kasowitz has worked for Donald Trump for decades. Win McNamee. Getty Images. In Fire and Fury, Steve Bannon claims lawyers helped cover up Donald Trump's indiscretions on several occasions. Bannon alleges one of Trump's lawyers, Mark Kasowitz, took care of 100 women during the 2016 presidential campaign. Look, Kasowitz has known Trump for 25 years. Kasowitz has gotten him out of all kinds of jams. Kasowitz on the campaign, what did we have? 100 women. Kasowitz took care of all of them, said Bannon in the book. Not long after the book was published, allegations later surfaced that Trump's lawyers paid adult film star Stormy Daniels $130,000 in exchange for her silence after an alleged sexual relationship. Trump allegedly said getting friends' wives into bed made life worth living. Trump reportedly doesn't have a very high opinion of marriage. Saul Lobap. Getty Images. Wolff says Trump has no qualms about sleeping with the wives of his friends. In the book, Wolff writes that Trump would convince married women to sleep with him by trying to get them to see their husbands were not the men they thought they were. He would accomplish this by allegedly setting up his friends with other women. Wolff said Trump would then make sure the wives were on speakerphone while he spoke their husbands. Says Wolff, he'd have his secretary ask the friend into his office. Once the friend arrived, Trump would engage in what was, for him, more or less constant sexual banter. Trump would say, I have girls coming in from Los Angeles at 3 o'clock. We can go upstairs and have a great time. All the while, Trump would have his friend's wife on speakerphone, listening in. Wolff says Trump is a womanizer. Trump has almost seemed to relish his reputation as a womanizer. David Lettermobs. In Fire and Fury, Wolff also says Trump really likes the ladies. If this is indeed true, it would be consistent with the allegations of sexual misconduct that have been made against Trump over the years. He refers to the president as a notorious womanizer. In the book, he also claims that Trump believed if a man was considerably older than his wife, she would be less likely to take the cheating personally. The author calls Trump an absentee father. Wolff claims Trump has very little to do with his son Barron. John Moore. Getty Images. Wolff implies Trump was too busy running his businesses and focused on becoming president to be there for his family. The author says Trump wasn't present for his first 4 children. He also claims Trump was even less of a father to his 5th child, Barron Trump. Said Wolff, an absentee father for his first 4 children, Trump was even more absent for his 5th Barron, his son with Melania. Now on his 3rd marriage, he told friends he thought he had finally perfected the art and let do your own thing. Sources say Trump doesn't read. Despite the piles of papers here, Trump allegedly avoids reading at all costs. Drew Anger. Getty Images. According to the book, Trump isn't a fan of reading. If this is true, it's troubling, considering that part of his job requires quite a bit of reading. Wolff claims that an internal White House email said to be written by Gary Cohn expressed shock about the fact that Trump doesn't look at anything with words on it. Cohn allegedly said in the email, Trump won't read anything, not one-page memos, not the brief policy papers, nothing. Wolff also weighed in with his own observations, saying here was, arguably, the central issue of the Trump presidency, informing every aspect of Trumpian policy and leadership. He didn't process information in any conventional sense, or, in a way, he didn't process it at all. Trump didn't read. He didn't really even skim. If it was print, it might as well not exist. Some believed that for all practical purposes he was no more than semi-literate. Wolff says Trump belittled campaign staffers. Trump didn't hesitate to belittle even his top staffers during the presidential campaign. Jim Watson. Getty Images. The book suggests Trump thinks very highly of himself. According to Wolff's account, Trump treated those around him as if they were unintelligent. Wolff writes that during Donald Trump's presidential campaign, staffers were sometimes berated. Writes Wolf, the leitmotif for Trump about his own campaign was how crappy it was and how everybody involved in it was a loser. Time spent with Trump on the campaign plane was often an epic dissing experience. Everybody around him was an idiot. Sources say Trump has a short attention span. Trump is known to abruptly leave important meetings. Pull Getty Images. If you can't seem to stomach all those work meetings, you might have some company. Another claim is that the president gets bored easily and can't focus long enough to sit through meetings. It is said he has even walked out when meeting with leaders. He gets up halfway through meetings with world leaders because he is bored, writes Wolf. Some are quoted as saying Trump isn't very smart. Cabinet members have allegedly insulted Trump's intelligence. Win McNamee. Getty Images. This next claim goes one step further, alleging several current and former White House employees think Trump isn't too bright. In an email said to be written by Gary Cohn, he says Trump is an idiot surrounded by clowns. Wolf says Steve Mnuchin and Reince Priebus also called Trump an idiot, and H.R. McMaster called Trump a dope. Wolf says Trump doesn't like being told what to do. Trump is notoriously stubborn. Mandel Nanap. Getty Images. Trump is used to being in charge. However, he appears to be a leader who has difficulty cooperating with advisors, according to Wolf. The author says that despite having little knowledge of foreign policy, Trump had trouble taking direction from the experts. Writes Wolf, his advisors didn't know if he was an isolationist or a militarist, or whether he could distinguish between the two. He was enamored with generals and determined that people with military command experience take the lead in foreign policy, but he hated being told what to do. He had little to no experience in foreign policy, but he had no respect for the experts, either. Some say Trump leads by impulse. Trump is an impulsive leader. Amazon. According to Wolf, former Deputy Chief of Staff Katie Walsh says Trump doesn't lead from a place of logic. Instead, she suggests the president is leading the country impulsively. Apparently, if something sounds and feels good to him, then he does it, implies Walsh. Trump, observed Walsh, had a set of beliefs and impulses, much of them on his mind for many years, some of them fairly contradictory, and little of them fitting legislative or political conventions or form. Hence, she and everyone else was translating a set of desires and urges into a program, a process that required a lot of guesswork. It was, said Walsh, like trying to figure out what a child wants. Follow the cheat sheet on Facebook.